Hi, everyone. Welcome to the weekly wrap-up here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I'm actually in my home office today working on strategic plan. And so I want to kind of give you an update on what's been going. So if you're new, we are doing weekly wrap-ups where I kind of tell you the behind the scenes things that have been going on with the cats here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And so I'm going to just check this because Judson's checking on my audio. Audio is perfect. Thank you, Judson. So Judson's playing IT from the sanctuary. I'm at my home office today, working on the strategic plan, what the next 3 and 5 years look like for the Wildcat Sanctuary. We've had a lot of leadership meetings about it, have kind of everything of where we want to go. I'm putting it into a narrative so that I can share with the board of directors before we bring it to all of you and get some stakeholder feedback to make sure, we're following not only our mission and vision, but what you see for the Wildcat Sanctuary in the future and to ensure our sustainability for years to come. Want to already apologize that I had Forrest sleeping here before I started the weekly wrap up, and now he's helping me on the desk. So many of you that have worked from home or even the sanctuary know that there are cats everywhere, even at my home office, but these are all domestic cats here. So let's dive right in. First, I want to say thank you all for joining me here on YouTube. I know many of you have been joining us on Facebook for the weekly wrap-ups, and so we have a new platform over here, but you'll be able to come back anytime and look at any of the wrap-ups you missed, see so many other wonderful videos and things of the cats here on our YouTube channel. And I really want to take the opportunity to thank you all for helping make Miracle Match a success. Every year we try and raise 4 months of general operating so that we can keep the lights on, the staff paid, and everything that we need for the sanctuary. And you helped us meet the double match and the triple match. To be honest, we were close to our goal, but we still are less than we raised last year. And last year we were less than we raised the year before. So as you can imagine, our expenses are increasing with the new build outs, the number of cats we have. Forrest, sorry, rubbing himself on the computer is not helpful. And so when you give to general operating, it means so much. And so we're not in dire straits or anything like that. We just have to look at new ways we can continue to raise revenue for the cats we care for, especially as expenses increase between food, propane, everything like that. And so another way we're going to do that is to be bringing you the biggest online auction ever. So many of you have joined in on our online auctions with special keepsakes from the cats in the past. And now this is going to be the best opportunity. It's over 100 items. And the reason we did that is because we got some feedback that those items go for such high prices that not everybody can afford the keepsake that they want, that's near and dear to them. And so that this way, with more items, we know there'll be different price points and hopefully something for everyone. We also, that we're not open to the public or for visitation, but this is a very rare opportunity in the upcoming auction over the next week and a half to actually bid on experiences here at the sanctuary. Many of you attended the VIP event last year, and we're going to be hosting that again this year. So you'll have a chance to bid on not only single tickets, but pairs of tickets, and then a very, very unique experience where you can bid on an opportunity to come observe Terrasa's medical exam and vasectomy in our observation suite of the hospital, and then have lunch with me, Dr. Kushner, who will be coming back for that, and our very own Dr. Campbell. So super great opportunity for people to get on site, see the cats you love in person, and see your donations at work. So talking a little bit about the strategic plan, the biggest thing we can do and the best thing we can do as a sanctuary is be sustainable for years to come until the last cat that is need is here at the sanctuary or another sanctuary, and that they've lived their lifelong days here at the sanctuary. And so strategic planning is a very important part of that. That not only includes safety reserves, but how do we want to accomplish that over the next 3 to 5 years? What major on-site projects do we want to do, but also what influence do we want to make outside to actually help end the captive wildlife crisis? And then what other animal issues, like the small cat crisis, still need to be resolved? Unreleasable wildlife, things like that, of how our mission still will be benefiting wildcats to come for years to come, and how you can participate in that. So definitely stay tuned as we work through this initial plan that we'll share pieces of with you over the next few months and end of year to get your feedback, because as I've always said, the sanctuary is not mine, it's yours, and it's the cats. And we definitely want you to be involved in that. I want to say hi to Lori, Torben, Faith, the Jill, all those wonderful people. I know more are joining, so I appreciate that so much. Hopefully, as I get to do this in the future, I'll be able to see you guys in the top chat and be able to answer in real time. But I also know you guys want to hear about the cats. So part of hearing about the cats is that individualized care we give the animals is so important, and that's provided by our wonderful caretaking team and interns. And so it is performance review time coming up in the next few months. Even though we're a small organization, we really want to professionalize our industry and continue. The sanctuary industry is still only 30 years old. And so a lot of places don't have all the layers that a business might need to perform long term. And we hope we can help set precedents and lead by example. And part of that is employee reviews and development plans. It's not so much telling people what they did wrong. It's about celebrating what they've done right, how they've followed the mission and the safety protocols and the individualized care. And then also using those development plans to help them build a future, hopefully at our sanctuary, at another sanctuary. But what do they want to learn from our organization? What talents do they want to garner to be able to, in their further career, help more animals at our sanctuary or at others? So that's something we do too. And again, it takes time, but it's so important. We want to develop our staff and really commend our staff and set them up for success. So the cats, you might not see in the next few weeks wellness exams. And the reason is we're caught up for a while. We have a few intake exams, but we really are looking at doing some play dates, mergers, moves, and repairs. And vet days can take almost a whole day for the animal care staff. And so we're going to push some of those back since there's nothing critically needed, and actually focus those days and hours on moves and mergers. And I just want to do a call out to say thank you, Jill, who donated here at YouTube. You can donate during this live stream or in any of our videos. So it's another wonderful way to benefit the cats. So some of those moves and mergers I talked about last time, but we already moved. Bella is already in quarantine. We moved Buddy the Bobcat up to quarantine right next to her. And then Brianna's moving today next door. And Ramsey, the lynx, already moved up. And so we're seeing this way, we have different corridors and different ways they can see each other. We're seeing if there's any miracle matches there. We know Buddy was growling a little bit already at Bella, but that's because he has never really lived next to a bobcat. So we'll give it time. We never force anybody to live together. But Ramsey had lived with cats for many, many years. So had Bella and so had Brianna. They've all lost their partners over the years. And so we're hoping we can have another miracle match. If not, that's okay. So we'll probably give this 4 to 6 weeks up in quarantine to get them used to each other and things like that before we make decisions if they can move them back. Somebody's asking, are there health benefits for Taras being vasectomized? Yes, the girls are spayed. But the vasectomy helps for a lot of reasons. Male lions can get very possessive over their females. And we also don't want him to have testicular cancer or anything moving forward. So all of that helps. And it also helps if we have intact female, like some of our witness protection cats, we can't spay or neuter till the case is over. And we don't want an intact male around that causes females to cycle, because then that causes an increase in pyometra. So doing this at a young age is super helpful for as many cats as we can do vasectomies, spays, or even neuters. So great question. So Leo and Mansa, as you guys know, Lion Leo used to have a lot of fur balls. We had to watch him very carefully because he gets fur balls, he gets backed up, he gets constipated, he gets partially blocked, and he's been on Miralax for life, a little bit of lactulose for life, and even a little bit of like omeprazole. So we've noticed some bile and vomiting in their enclosure, but we couldn't tell who it was. They set up cameras. They couldn't see, but this morning they saw that it was Mansa, and we were really thinking it was Leo. And so our vets are talking if she needs to be on omeprazole or if she's just kind of, now that the grass is exposed, a lot of cats are eating the grass and the straw because it's spring, and if that's just causing her to vomit. So right now we're not concerned, but we're definitely have an eye on it, and our vet team has been looped into. A lot of you guys saw Lavani and Kitu move down to their summer area, which they love, and have asked about how Lavani's doing. So Lavani's appetite has been great. He still has diarrhea from his gastritis. He also is being a little picky about what he wants to eat, what kind of meat. The good news is he's not losing weight, but the bad news is he hasn't put on weight. So we're cautiously watching him. We're hoping he'll start putting on weight now that he's consistently eating again. We're considering if he has a really, really good appetite, what other medication can we get into him? But as you know, as soon as we try meds, he goes off food, which is even harder for his system. So right now it's a balancing act, but we're really happy how him and Kitu are doing. Bosco, people keep asking him about him too. The serval, he's on Quality of Life Watch. We have a lot of geriatrics. He's 22. You saw on a post on Facebook that Shadow's 21 and Shazam's 22. I mean, we have a lot of older cats, but Bosco's kind of staying as steady as he can. And as we know at this age, it can just take anything to set those kidneys over or anything over. But right now he's staying stable, and we're very, very thankful for that. Little Sebastian Stan is a Bengal that we rescued through when Tri-State Zoo shut down, and being one of the few sanctuaries that take in Bengals. PETA reached out to us and asked us if we could accommodate him. He's been living at our intern house and doing great, but he's a little bit of a regurgitator too. And sometimes if you have cats at home, you know, they can be like that. Otherwise, it can be an allergy to chicken. And even though now I have Forrest down here playing with the light and the bag. And so we're looking at taking out chicken from his diet, even as wet food, and seeing if there's an allergy, giving a more limited ingredient in diet. Bengals, you know, GI tracts are very sensitive, but Sebastian Stan's acting completely normal and happy besides, you know, kind of those regurges that he's having. And then talking about Shadow and Shazam, again, doing great for their age. Shadow put on a lot of extra weight this winter. And so what we're doing now is we're cutting her diet quicker than we normally would, because we want to see medically if she loses weight or if she's really more of a distended abdomen. And the reason we're not sedating her and intervening is because she's acting normal. She's running and chasing Tao, the bobcat next door. She's not acting sick at all. But we do know she had all those benign masses. She underwent emergency surgery several years back from a huge benign mass that ruptured. And so at her age, anything can happen. But we really are thinking it's just because she was less mobile during the winter months. And she's just a little hefty. And her diet was even heavier than Shazam's. So we're excited to see her look a little bit more svelte and feel a little bit more agile as she gets some weight off. So Lloyd the Savannah, if you guys remember him, he's one of our newest intakes, and he had all those lesions in his mouth. They're doing well. They're down about 90%. He still gets a little bit of steroid treatment, but he's moved out to a bungalow we've tried him with play dates with other cats, and he seems to be way more assertive than we thought he would be because he's so shy with people. But he's really coming out of his shell. We see him outside all the time. And yesterday I was out with Kiara, and he was just mewing and meowing and chattering and so talkative. And it was just like having a different cat. And so it was awesome. Now, he wasn't doing it as a way to say hello. He was doing a way to be dominant over Kiara, the dog. But I love when we don't see fear in animals' eyes anymore. It's okay that he thinks he can take on Kiara, because to me, that's confidence. And I love seeing an animal blossom that it was so kind of retreated and was so scared of people and kind of lashed out, to see him be so confident. So Josie, everybody know that Josie had her CT scan. She's the office cat with the old facial trauma when we rescued her. The CT from the verbals we've gotten wasn't showing anything really abnormal except for a bone fragment from her old injuries that shouldn't be causing her eye issues. Our Anna, our caretaking staff, and Teresa, our animal care wellness manager, had a great idea. Teresa brought those soft paws in, and we don't usually put those little soft paws on cats with claws, because a lot of our cats we can't handle that way. But because she kept scratching her eye and she hated the cone, we thought until we knew next steps, Teresa brought those in. She allowed them on her paws. It took 3 people because she does not like being restrained, but it is really helping her not being able to scratch or damage her eye. That we know it itches a little bit from the dry eye, but I love the creative solutions that our staff bring to make anything better for the cats, even if it's a little small, and even if it's just why we're waiting for permanent results. So Gino and Sophie, people have asked about them as well. So Gino and Sophie continue to grow the relationship through their shared fence and wall, which is we're very happy to see that. That still doesn't mean that they will live together in the same enclosure harmoniously, but it does mean we are closer to trying a play date. So we're going to take all of our focus, and instead of a vet day, the caretaking team and the vet team is all sat down. We're strategizing the safest way to do that. And we'll keep everybody posted. We won't be going live during that time because we really need to be focused on the safety of the animal. In case anything were to happen or escalate, we want to get them separated really quickly. But we have everything from deterrence to food to even giving them a little bit of trazodone to calm them a little bit prior to a play date and things like that. So we take it very seriously. But even if they can't live together, we do see a really wonderful friendship blossoming through the shared walls. So we know they'll have some type of relationship moving forward. They'll just have to determine what that is. Taras, we talked about his vasectomy. So that's scheduled. And then we have some witness protection cat exams and things that are going to probably take place at the same time, based on needs and things like that. And as you guys know, when we have witness protection cats, we cannot sterilize them necessarily until we get approval. And so hopefully we'll be able to share cases with you in the future, but we're busy taking care of them just like the rest of the residents. So little Bengal Ashes, if you remember, Cinders was one of our office Bengals. She was surrendered with Ashes, the Bengal. They were sisters, but Cinders was getting picked on by Ashes, and Ashes was urinating on beds and couches and everything else. So we separated them, and Ashes has really blossomed being the only cat. So we thought we could finally try her in the volunteer center as the only cat and test her out in the waters to make sure she's not peeing and ruining things again. That's why she was surrendered. So far, so good. She has oversprayed her litter box, but she's trying to go in. So we got a very nice tall litter box for her to not spray outside of. So we're going to continue to try that. And she's loving running around the volunteer center, which is my old house. She has a catio there. And she is just having a blast. So we've talked to her a little bit about if she starts peeing on volunteers' purses and things, she might have to go out to a bungalow. But right now, it's going really well. And I know sponsors will get an update and photos. We just try and wait till we know it's permanent before we send everything out, so we don't have to tell you that, we had to change again. And this is, and Forest here, Forest. Um, so the other one is Paige, our vet tech came out. So our vet techs are still coming out, even though we're not doing vet days right now, unless an animal needs to be seen. So we can do the play dates and mergers. But what that gave her a lot of time to do is to do a lot of the laser therapy that she does for cats with arthritis. And she was really excited to go out and walk around the property and finally see cats awake, because our vet techs often only see them asleep on the table, and to be able to do laser therapy, which is just one of many things we do for pain management and arthritis here. We also had volunteers on site that were getting trained in chores and more. And those volunteers come and help do dishes and things like that for the prep room. But they also, the more part is if they've given so many hours to the sanctuary and go through training, that they can go sit with cats that we assign them outside the habitat, read books, sing, talk, sometimes bring items to socialize and help get the cats that are a little more shy used to human presence. And it's in a really positive, calm way. But it's also cats that we focus on that live solitary, that might just want a little more interaction. Even sitting at the fence with a book and a chair can be really entertaining for a cat. Sometimes if we get cats like Jeremy and Simon, so many years ago when they came and they were very timid of people, we'd have them walk around with a water bucket so that they get desensitized to a water bucket, or even a sled or something, so that as caretakers bring equipment around, the cats aren't scared. So it's a really nice way for us to thank volunteers that are committed and give a lot of hours at the sanctuary, but also benefit the cats in a really special way. Forest is wanting all the attention. And as you guys have seen on Judson and Brooke's live posts, more enrichment is being given out. There's some really awesome things that Nova and I know Dash got, I know the Lion Cubs got, and those are poles or chains with movable toys on them. So they're almost like mobiles where they can hit them around and they can spin them. And I love seeing that. More pineapples were given out. Substrate and kiddie pools, anything that we can just to give the cats some new enrichment. I know also staff was doing the scent trails, so not just spraying perfume, but creating that prey scent trail through the habitat. So that was great. All right, I have to move forward so I can see some of my notes. We also have, summer's our busiest time because we have mowing, we have construction, we have moves and mergers, and we always have rescues too. So we actually are hiring a seasonal caretaker. And in the past, we've had the same seasonal caretaker come back year after year. Loved Misha so much. We knew eventually he'd have to get a full-time job in Canada where he's from. And so we're sad he won't be joining us this summer. He's still part of our TWS family, but we're very thankful that we'll have the opportunity to welcome another seasonal caretaker. And the best way we kind of find our caretakers is through our intern program and our lead intern program. They already know TWS. They're performing really well. Obviously, to be a lead intern, they've been doing a great job. So we have had lead interns apply for that seasonal caretaker position. They'll live on site and help with overnight coverage during the summer so that all the caretakers don't have to do as much. And then obviously during our weather months where we might have tornadoes and things, having an extra person on site monitoring the weather, locking cats in, checking overnights is a huge bonus. So we'll let you know when that position's filled and we can welcome that staff member. Also, Jesse is still working on getting estimates for our new rescue trailer that we'll be doing a campaign for. And we have a donor who wants to do a match for that. So we'll be sharing you with that this summer. That volunteer pavilion, we're starting to flag it out and determine the size we need and get an estimate. Brush hog, we realized how much we need to get the ditches down around the lion enclosure, Shreks and the pond, so that we can see the cats for safety and be able to maintain the grounds. So all of that, we always get estimates first. We review them before making a decision because we want to make sure we're stewards of your dollars, getting the best deal and getting a good piece of equipment that's going to last. Another thing on top of all the storm damage, the fence company was here, you saw, for Henry and Haley's. We were hoping they could move right back into their enclosure. Alyssa and the others did inspections and realized from the storm damage, the roof and the poles are fixed now, but she's concerned a little bit about the edging. And so she would like to go put diagonal patches all around the edging just to make sure there's no gaps and that it will withstand another storm damage. So hopefully in the next 2 days, they'll have full access to their yard again. The other thing with Minnesota winters is that our ground freezes and heaves and our poles and everything move up. It's why we use hog rings and wire ties versus welding, because we need to have motion in our habitats for that heaving and settling that happens every winter and spring. And so sometimes the skirting moves up. And so we have the wall of the fence here. We have skirting on the ground so that if the wall heaves up, the skirting still keeps a barrier. It works great, but sometimes it moves up and it doesn't come back down. And so the staff moves the poles and everything down, redoes the skirting. And so it's not a fun project, but it's an important safety project. And there's the Tiger Trio and Elizabeth and Noah's yard has some areas that they're working on there. Tarek and Paulina, as you know, Tarek is one of our biggest tigers. And, we called Caesar and Logan the cow or the horses. I call Tarek the cow, much like you have to rotate cattle in fields so they don't just demolish the whole field. Tarek almost has to rotate habitats because he is so mobile. He walks around so much. He just desecrates trees, bushes, everything. And we put him in one of the most overgrown habitats, and it's still looking like there's no grass or anything in it. So we decided to call in our excavators and say, how can we help drainage and keep vegetation better where Tarek lives? And so we have some estimates for that, and that can be anywhere up to $4,000, but we think it's really important to do. So I don't think we're going to move him because him and Paulina really have a kinship with leopard Shazam. So we're going to invest in doing some excavation and landscaping and just working around Tarek's behavior. And then some other things that we do at the sanctuary that, we have an animal care status every other week on top of our huddles every day. And we do continuing ed. So this week, Dr. Campbell took everybody through anesthesia protocol and the drugs we use and reversals and things like that. We did chemical immobilization a week prior. We have staff right now being trained in on the skid steers and trailer training, because part of what we require is if they go on rescues that they can drive, move, unhitch, and back up and do all that they need with a trailer. Really, the caretakers need to be Jack and Jill of all trades, and it's our job to help give them the opportunity to do that. So those are, kind of the updates. I try to keep them to half an hour every week, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I know we're going to be sending out a few more sponsor updates in the next few weeks and months. So definitely make sure you check your junk and spam folders if you're a sponsor parent, because a lot of those emails go in there. If you haven't signed up for our e-news, you definitely go to our website, wildcatsanctuary.org, and sign up, because we're going to be having some big news this month. And, I can kind of tell you that we're expecting more residents here at the sanctuary, and I can't wait to share their special stories with you. And right now we're just kind of waiting for some finalization. We are working on setting up transport and working on where they will reside for quarantine and what's needed. So somebody's asking, will we have a vet day when Taras has his vasectomy? We're going to have a vet day, and we'll probably do a live post. We'll wait and see, but there'll definitely be an opportunity to bid on coming and seeing the cubs in person, as well as anything else. So somebody's asking, is Noah and Elizabeth might like each other? Noah and Elizabeth actually live together, and they've been living together since the rescue and for many, many years. So they will remain together, and they do wonderfully and are very compatible. So, well, I appreciate you guys I see another scratch at the door. So probably another one of the cats. I have several cats here at the home office. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will be here every week at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time for our weekly Wildcat Wrap-Up. And we will try and keep giving you updates on cats. And if there's concerns, we will pass those along too. And so if you're a sponsor parent, hopefully you hear it from us via email first, but I'm trying to keep everything up to date for you here as well, so that there's definitely multiple ways to communicate to all of you so that you know what's going on with the cats you love so much. So thank you all who gave for Miracle Match. Definitely watch for some more opportunities with the auction. We have a summer campaign coming up. We actually have a toy drive that might be coming up too, so you can purchase toys for the cats. And right now there are toys on the Amazon wish list for some of the smaller cats. So if that's something you're interested, definitely look at our Chewy wish list and our Amazon wish list. We are always in need of cat food and litter and supplements and things like that. And you can help us care for those cats every day in more than one way. So whatever really appeals to you is how we want you to support the sanctuary. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.